everyone, a massive welcome to all you first semester BCA students. It is time for the grand finale of your problem-solving technique course. I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through this final explainer. We've spent 3 units building a solid foundation, learning how to swap variables, how to write C syntax, and how to manipulate arrays. Well, today, all of that hard work finally pays off. We're going to take every single simple pattern we've learned and assemble them into complete, powerful algorithms. This is the summit of the course, and you should be incredibly proud to be here. Let's get right into it.
So, here's our map for today's explainer. First, sorting the array. Second, searching the array. Third, processing text and patterns. And finally, wrapping up the course. Now, looking at this official syllabus, it might just seem like a dry list of topics, but what we're actually doing here is incredibly satisfying. We're turning chaotic, jumbled data into beautifully ordered, instantly searchable information. I mean, that's literally the core of what makes software useful.
All right, let's dive into this. Section 1, sorting the array, creating order from chaos.
Okay, so this is our ultimate goal for the first half of this unit. We're bringing back our familiar 5-element marks array from previous units. It starts out pretty messy, right? We've got 42, 78, 55, 91, and 63. Our job is to get it perfectly sorted in ascending order. 42, 55, 63, 78, 91. Keep this exact transformation in your mind, because every single sorting algorithm we're going to look at has this exact same destination. They just take slightly different paths to get there. To make that happen, we're adding 5 new methods to your toolkit today. We've got selection sort, exchange or bubble sort, insertion sort, diminishing increment, also known as shell sort, and partitioning, which you'll usually hear called quick sort. They all hit the exact same goal, but their strategies are wonderfully different. Let's see how each one works.
First up is selection sort. Honestly, this one is basically just searching for the minimum value over and over again. You scan the unsorted part of the array, pick out the absolute smallest number, and swap it directly into the first available spot. Then, you look at what's left, find the next smallest, and swap it into the second spot. You just repeat that until the whole thing is ordered. It's super direct, and it uses that exact same swapping technique you learned way back in Unit 1.
Next is exchange sort, though you'll almost always hear it called bubble sort. Instead of hunting for the minimum, this method just steps through the array and compares neighbors. If 2 neighboring numbers are out of order, swap them. By doing this over and over, the largest unsorted element visually bubbles up to its correct position at the end of the array on every single pass.
Then we have insertion sort. You'll actually find this one incredibly relatable because it's exactly how you'd sort playing cards in your hand. You start with one card, which is sorted by definition, right? Then you pick up the next card, compare it to what you already have, and insert it into the exact right spot. You're building a sorted section one single value at a time, just shifting the other elements over to make room.
Now let's see how that builds into our next method, diminishing increment or shell sort. Think of this as a clever shortcut for insertion sort. Instead of just comparing neighbors, shell sort starts by comparing values that are far apart. It moves widely spaced elements closer to their final home really quickly. Then it gradually shrinks that gap until it's just doing a normal, simple insertion pass at the very end. By getting the heavy lifting out of the way early, that final pass is an absolute breeze.
Finally, we have sorting by partitioning, or quicksort. And here's the best part, you already know how to do this. Quicksort literally just reuses the exact partitioning trick you mastered in Unit 3. You pick a pivot value, throw all the smaller numbers to its left and all the larger numbers to its right. And doing it recursively just means you repeat that exact same splitting process on the smaller left half and then the smaller right half until the whole shebang is sorted.
So, you might be wondering, why learn all 5? Well, it all comes down to speed and scale. Simple sorts like selection, bubble, and insertion are fantastic and super easy to code for small arrays. But as your data grows, quicksort is the undisputed champion. It uses that clever divide and conquer strategy to sort massive data sets incredibly fast.
Moving right along.
Section 2, searching the array, finding data fast.
Now what's really interesting is that once our data is beautifully sorted, finding exactly what we need becomes an absolute breeze. Let's compare our 2 main searching strategies. First, we have linear search. This is the brute force way, checking every single value one by one from start to finish until you find a match. It works on messy data, sure, but it's slow.
Right next to it, we have binary search. This is a lightning-fast method, but it comes with a catch. It strictly requires the data to be sorted first. Let's look at why.
Here is binary search in action on our familiar, now sorted array. Let's say we're looking for the number 78. We don't start at the beginning. We check the exact middle element, which is 63. Now, because 63 is less than our target of 78, we instantly know that 78 cannot be anywhere in the left half of the array. So we just completely discard the left side and focus only on the right half. The middle of that new right half is 78. Boom! We found it in just 2 tries. Binary search magically cuts the remaining work in half on every single attempt.
All right, Section 3. Processing text in patterns, strings as arrays.
Now that you've mastered numbers, you might be asking yourself, do these searching and sorting rules only apply to numbers? It's a great question, and the answer is absolutely not. Text, words, and sentences are essentially just arrays wearing different clothes.
For example, take a look at the character array for the text BCA student. In C, a line of text is basically just a sequence of characters ending with a special null terminator. And because it's an array, we can scan it, search it, and manipulate it using the exact same logic we use for our marks array.
In fact, we can perform 4 major text operations using the skills you already have. We can adjust a line to a fixed length by padding it with spaces, which is really just our Unit 1 counting loop. We can search for a character as it's typed on the keyboard, which is basically a live version of a linear search. We can edit a line by inserting or deleting characters using the exact shifting technique we learned for arrays. And we can search for a short pattern inside a longer text, which is just applying our array comparison logic to characters. See? It's all connected.
And that brings us to Section 4, wrapping up the course, from swaps to systems.
Take a deep breath and give yourselves a massive round of applause. You have officially reached the summit of the entire syllabus. Let's just trace this magnificent journey for a second. In Unit 1, you learned simple logic on paper, how to swap 2 values and add up a list. In Unit 2, you learned how to translate those ideas into actual C programming syntax. In Unit 3, you applied those loops and swaps to arrays and matrices. And finally, here in Unit 4, those basic building blocks came together to form complete complex sorting and searching algorithms. It's been one continuously expanding piece of logic.
I want to leave you with this final thought. The same simple ideas from day 1 have grown into complete algorithms. Think about it. The 3 lines of code you used to swap 2 variables in week 1 are the exact same 3 lines powering quicksort today. You didn't just memorize random facts. You actually learned how to think like an algorithm designer. You should feel incredibly proud of your progress. So now that you have this powerful problem-solving toolkit, what amazing challenge are you going to conquer next?